Roll, baby. See what we got. Oh, we on. What's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure having you in. I'm L'Esprit. I am a spiritual healer. What I do here, man, we're giving sights to the blind, meaning I help people to become whole, right? And the way I do that is by helping you to understand your emotional and intellectual pattern. And that perfect union is how you become in a healthy state of mind. And that's what a spiritual healer does, right? And of course, the core of that is spirituality. Now, if you're coming back, you already know, get a plate. You know what I'm saying? Eat your meal, motherfucker. Get your medicine. So, and of course, spirituality is it's at the core of everything. And here's something else too. Now, especially if this is your first time here, I always like to give a little bit of background on what spirituality is. Because spirituality is definitely not your once a week, Sunday type of thing, or only a certain people get the privilege, or just those who are meditating or spiritual. Nah, spirituality is us. It's all of us. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, if you understand that our life is based on our perspective, I'm sorry, or your state of mind. Do you see what I'm saying? In fact, okay, by me talking to you now, I'm speaking to you verbally, but my words are a representation of my mental. Now, as you delve a little bit more into what would be the representation of that mentality then? It's spirit. It is spiritually based. So therefore, you can't dissociate spirituality from your life. Everything you do is fucking spiritual because it's spirit based. That's why they say, or it is, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So for you to be a spiritual being, meaning everything that you are experiencing, it has to be spiritual. Now, the human part of it comes in by, it's the process of you understanding these things. What you are going through to come to certain realization. That's what the human experience is. That's why you have to become in harmony with your experiences. That's why the knower, the known and the knower has to become one. The word has to be made flesh. So spirituality is your birthright. It's what you do on a regular basis. That's you shit it every day. So and you can't dissociate spirituality from your life. So that's why if you see anybody, you know what I'm saying, talking about spirituality and not it's your day to day life. It's you. You see what I'm saying? So now with that being said, what I'm gonna be talking about tonight, guys, is understanding the nature of fucking ignorance. Because technically what it comes down to, when people don't understand what spirituality is, or you're not being in alignment with who they are, is due to fucking ignorance. And part of the nature of ignorance is that your intellect now is lacking because you're looking at it from one perspective. So therefore, your intellect is not fully developed. That's why, what I'm saying, like what you call the occultist or someone who's spiritual, their intellect is gonna be highly developed. Show me a fucking spiritual motherfucker who's dumb. It's not gonna happen. And you're gonna be automatically high. I mean, highly. I mean, your intellect is gonna be highly developed because you get to see the full picture. So automatically, your intellect it has to expand. So if a lack of intellect is stopping you from being spiritual, it's because you don't have enough intellect, motherfucker. Not because of having too much intellect. It doesn't make sense. In fact, your intellect is lacking. That's why you don't see things as you should. But the way it works, though, you got to see the full picture and to develop your intellect. So, understanding the nature of ignorance is key. It's important. It's another way of saying, you know how they say, if you don't control your demon, will have control over you. Do you see what I'm saying? If you don't control your shadow self, well, your shadow self will have control over you. That's just the way it goes. Another way of saying that too, they say, if you're not conscious of if your unconscious mind, your unconscious will rule your conscious. Well, that's what ignorant do, right? Like a stupid motherfucker don't know that they're stupid. So understanding the nature of ignorance already will enable you to be in perfect alignment with the person that you are. That's why this is very important. In fact, I'm trying to emphasize on how important this is by, using those different ways of saying the same shit. Do you see what I'm saying? If you don't master your emotions going to control you. That's just the way it goes. But all of that, though, like the nature of ignorance, pretty much derived from the false self. Because when you're talking about the true self, you're talking about, like the truth. You're talking about, what I'm saying, knowing. You're talking about love too. Because once you become in a fucking alignment with your true self, you're in a state of love. Because love is pretty much self-expression. It's freedom. That's why when you love somebody, do you see what I'm saying? Like, like you express yourself to them. But someone who is fear-based, the fear of losing somebody, they would have to lie to you. That's when the whole manipulation game comes in. Because they are operating as fear-based. Which is also another part of the nature of ignorance. So when I'm talking about the nature of ignorance, what I'm talking about is the different component of ignorance here that's fucking you up. And there are effects on your life that a lot of people don't understand. So the life that we're living now, that you're seeing right now, what we're calling the Matrix, it's a life based on, out of fucking ignorance. And that's what the Matrix is telling you too, by knowing the truth. When you're ignorant, you don't know the truth. You don't have enough information for you to know the truth anyway. In other words, you're not looking at the bigger picture for you to. That's why your intellect is lacking. You become one-sided. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all coming together if you understand it. So in other words, like I'm gonna be talking about the different component of fucking ignorance because our whole fucking society is ignorant. It's based out of fucking ignorance because it's based on a false self, which is not the truth. We all know it, and I talk about this all the time. Like we all are living our life based on who we should be instead of who we are. When you're not honoring your gifts, you don't even know what your talent is. You're living a false life. You're not alive. And true love has to do with that self-expression. That's why when you truly love somebody, you gotta let them go. True love let go. But fear closes you up. Manipulation, trying to hold people down, that's what you do. Then we have a whole culture that is fear-based. You're seeking for power, domination, you know what I'm saying? Locking the motherfucker down, trapping a nigga, all that shit. Those are all the fucking components of it. So it's a whole world now that is being created based on that fucking ignorance. Or those different type of ignorance. Well, we're talking about the components. Then you have a fake world. Oh, excuse me. Do you see what I'm saying? And love, or true love, which is yourself, you know what I'm saying, on the other hand, you know, it's a whole different ball game. You know, you're not looking to, you know, to trap anybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, you understand the value of fucking values. So therefore, you're seeking for values in other people. I'm on shit, nigga. I'm a very expensive nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm a high value nigga, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's all I look for, and that has nothing to do with money. We're talking about pure values here. That's why in our society, everybody knows the price of everything, but has no value though. So all of these things are components of motherfucking ignorance. But you also got to keep in mind too, now duality is another component of this fucking illusion world. I mean, of this fucking illusion. Now, when I'm talking about duality, think about this, right? Ever since the fucking pandemic, you know, do you notice there's a bunch of fucking verses? Think about it. But why though? You know, like the one thing, like me, I'm an 80s babies, right? So I grew up listening to the 90s, right? Like hip hop and shit like that. You know, like I liked everybody. Do you see what I'm saying? Because everybody was not only different, you couldn't compare one with another. Everybody was just hot. It was just hot songs, hot music. So I'm saying this to say, you know, when you have a duality perspective, everything becomes a competition. So, you know, that's why competition is the key in our life. But again, keep in mind, it is a component of that fucking state of illusion that we are living. Now, in your movies, you got to have a good guy, you got to have a bad guy. That's duality. Guess what else? There's got to be a heaven, there's got to be a hell. You see what I'm saying? And they're in constant fight. They never come together. The bad guy in the movie and the good guy in the movie will never come together. You know, that duality is another aspect of ignorance. That's why the Kabbalion tells you about fucking polarity. And that's what we call in African spirituality, ma'at. Harmony. They all come hand in hand. And when you understand that, and guess what too? With duality, guess what you have? You would have a conflict or a direct conflict between the spirit and the body. It's, again, we're talking about fucking duality again. So in so many words, the highest spiritual, like European spirituality, it's duality based. It's just a higher form. They don't tell you now about, let's just say, heaven and hell, but they tell you fuck Earth, and then it's what you don't see. As if we are all here by fucking accident. Do you see what I'm saying? Their intellect is lacking. Similac. They thinking like children. Do you see what I'm saying? But when you look at your body as an extension of your conscious mind, which is exactly what it is, when you bypass the fucking illusion of the separation between your body and yourself, and even quantum physics now is telling you even the shit that you think you see is all fucking energy. So in fact, it's pretty much supporting the fact that it's all spiritual. Again, that's what illusion is. It's not what you think it is. Or it's not as it appears to be. That's what illusion is. And that's why the Indian call Earth Maya. And that's what it means. But now for you to truly see what it is, that's how you have to understand the nature of ignorance. Do you see what I'm saying? You're not able to see past the smoke. You can't really see here. You got to have that inner vision, baby. So duality is also another component of, of this state of ignorance. Because it all derives from the false self. When you're not in alignment with yourself, which is the true self, everything else, if you're not true to yourself, you'll be false to everybody else. Do you see what I'm saying? And you're not it's not love-based. Your behavior now, is not love-based. Because now you're seeking to please other people. You're seeking to act a certain way. Your accomplishments is what defines you. Do you see what I'm saying? And all of these things are stopping you. Not really stopping you, but that ignorance, due to that ignorance, now you cannot see the bigger picture. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you become, you chasing your own tail. And you're not even aware of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So, as a spiritual healer, it's very important, not just for me, but for you, for you to truly heal yourself, you got to understand the nature of ignorance and how, and its effect on you. So, and here's something else too. Now, when we're talking about karma, this is also very important too. It's another component of fucking ignorance. Because karma, a lot of people look at karma as your just due, right? Or your what you deserve, compensation, or justice, right? But for me personally, I feel like karma is, technically when we're talking about karma, it's just a reaction to your action. But that reaction to your action only happens when you're not in alignment with the true person that you are. So technically, karma truly is helping you to become in alignment. It's like you went like this. It's like just a little tap on your wrist. Well, depending on how, how much out of bound that you are or off track that you are, because that is gonna have to You know what I'm saying? It just got to realign that ass a little bit. So depending on how far out of line that you get, well, I mean, it could be a little bit. But the bottom line is, karma is technically. Think about it this way: when you go through your fucking karmic relationships, they're teaching you on things that you shouldn't be doing. When you have a karmic relationship, technically you are out of alignment. You're off track. And that's what the relationship is teaching you. In other words, you were operating based on fucking ignorance. So that's why karma as well is another component of ignorance too. The only way for you to bypass karma, yes you can, is by becoming in alignment with your true self. Because the true self, now you're flowing with God, like you are, now you're flowing with life. Now you on God time. Now your will becomes a divine will. Now you're going with the flow of life. There's no karmic for that because life is perfect. It's my art. Once you jump on that flow, oh, you're gonna be just fine, baby. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why when you follow your bliss, you follow your gifts, your talent. It guides you. It takes you where you're supposed to be, and in the process of you doing that, you are also becoming. Like they always say, right? The good thing about like the thing about hard work, it's not the reward, but it's the person that you become. So as you're flowing with life, that's why you'll see anybody who ever, use their talent or fucking artists or, like they are closer to God. There's a sense of divinity that they have experienced. Because as they are, exploring their gifts, there's a connection that's happening with them. And as they're doing so, they're having a cosmic relationship with the universe as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, God damn it, niggas. So, I'm saying this to say, you know, it's important, for you to understand the state of ignorance. Because if you don't know it, you'll be ruled by fucking ignorance. And that's what we see all the time. Stupid niggas don't know that they're stupid, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that. That's why, ironically, like I always tell people, man, it's like, and that's why, too, like, for you to get there, you got to know how to get there. It's a vicious cycle. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why taking accountability, like, it's okay to be dumb for 5 minutes instead of being dumb for a lifetime. That's why you got to ask questions, right? But most importantly, what I'm trying to say by this, too, I know for me, in my journey when I first started, I knew that I was, at one point, I knew that I was ignorant, though. And that knowing, I was able to build from there. Do you see what I'm saying? And today, when I reflect back on that, I'm like, shit, I always knew. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what, what I'm saying, I base my not necessarily foundation, but what I'm trying to say here is this. It's like that's how I knew. I mean, I don't know, like, if you ever heard people saying, I always been that nigga. when I was a little nigga. I I get it now. I mean, not that I get it now, but they say it in their ways. But what they're truly saying is that they always had a sense of integrity. There was always something about them that they knew, and that's what conduces them to become the person that they are. So I'm saying all of that to say, it all starts by you taking accountability. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the biggest thing I've ever done was for me to know that I was stupid at one point. Do you see what I'm saying? And I didn't even know that then I was taking accountability. What was happening with me at that point, because I remember, like, like certain things would happen to me, and then I would catch it probably like a month or two later. Like, what? Do you see what I'm saying? And, I probably was in my 18, 19. Like, yeah, yeah. Then I started processing that. I'm like, oh no, man, that's being a little bit retarded, don't you think? You know what I'm saying? And that was me at that moment talking to myself, and that also was, the beginning of my search too. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I didn't want to be dumb anymore, right? Or I was, obviously I wasn't that dumb, but I wanted to become smarter, because obviously I knew I was dumb. You had to be smart to know that. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand here. But it's all connected, though. It's all connected. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the world that we're living now, I mean, in right here, right now, is based on ignorance. That's why you see the duality, just like I was talking about. The intellect is lacking. Karma's a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And when we're also talking about karma, think, I mean, the intention is not to suffer, but unfortunately a lot of us are suffering because we're not transforming our pain into lessons. Do you see what I'm saying? Only the way to master your pain, you gotta see. That's why the cure of the pain is in the pain. When you start looking at the pain as a lesson, at that point, it's no longer a pain. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, when you grab a dumbbell, you don't look at it as something heavy. In fact, you're looking for the heaviest dumbbell, because you know that's what's going to keep you in shape. And that's how you turn the other cheek too. You're having a whole different perspective on life. That's when you become optimistic. Not that you are negating or suppressing the actual negativity, but you embrace it. But now you have a positive outcome of the bullshit. You're looking at it from a different perspective, from a constructive perspective. Now you are, you know what I'm saying, you're creating, you're making it, you're benefiting from it. You're making it to your benefit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm not going to keep you guys too long. I got a bunch of other videos that I will be uploading. Guys, check out the Patreon, become a member, become a tribe member. You know what I'm saying? Let's build a spiritual community where we all could get together and talk, you know what I'm saying, and, and build. Do you see what I'm saying? Where like-minded can, you know what I'm saying, really, and that's the one thing about the fucking internet too that I really like, you know what I'm saying, is that we all get to be connected even though we could be in different stages or different part of the world. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I could see another like-minded person that may not be in my environment, but we could connect that way and still build. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, with that being said, check out the Patreon. We're definitely going to keep in touch. You already know. I see. Ali.